She was Hollywood sunshine, the kind of star whose laugh could light up a room, whose energy could carry a movie, and whose charm felt timeless. For over 50 years, Goldie Hawn held the attention of the world. From her early days as a TV sweetheart to her reign as one of Hollywood's top comedic leads, she seemed untouched by the darker parts of fame. But behind her radiant smile was a quiet strength shaped by experiences she rarely spoke of, until now. At 79, Goldie has begun sharing pieces of her truth, and what she reveals isn't just personal. It's a glimpse into the pressures, betrayals, and toxic moments that so many women in the industry were forced to endure silently. Goldie didn't name names to cause drama. She did it to reclaim her story. And some of the people on her private blacklist are names fans never expected. The first was someone she once shared a screen with in a crowd-pleasing comedy from the late 70s. To audiences, Foul Play was a fun, quirky film. But behind the scenes, working with Chevy Chase was anything but fun. He was already a huge name at the time, fresh off the early success of Saturday Night Live. But with fame came ego. Goldie tried to maintain her signature light-heartedness, cracking jokes between takes and lifting everyone's spirits. But Chevy didn't match her energy. His mood was often dark, his behavior unpredictable. He would improvise scenes without warning, refuse direction, and throw fits if something didn't go his way. When Goldie's comedic timing drew laughs, he sulked. If a line landed better for her than for him, he wanted it changed. He wasn't just competitive. He was cruel. Crew members recall her quietly venting that he wasn't kind when the cameras stopped. "He's not funny off-screen," she said softly once. "He's just mean." As filming dragged on, the distance between them grew. At first, they'd rehearse together. By the end, she asked to rehearse alone. He mocked her professionalism, referring to her as a flirt, and suggesting she was lucky to be working alongside him at all. There was no final confrontation. No big public spat. Just a cold silence. Goldie fulfilled her obligations and moved on. When the studio proposed sequels, she declined. She ignored calls about working with him again. It wasn't worth the toll it took on her. What should have been a creative milestone had become a lesson in emotional survival. Then came Warren Beatty. Known for his charm and his long list of romantic conquests, he tried to add Goldie to that list. She was flattered at first, even a little curious. But it didn't take long to see through the charm. Goldie was smart, and she had already learned how to spot trouble behind a charming smile. She said no more than once. And that's when the change happened. Warren's flirtation turned to bitterness. He started whispering doubts about her to other industry insiders, calling her unserious, flaky, not right for serious roles. It wasn't an open attack, more like quiet sabotage. One producer admitted later that he was warned against hiring Goldie because of baggage. It was a loaded word. It didn't mean drama. It meant someone powerful had an issue with her. Goldie never fired back publicly. She simply said no to every opportunity that had his name attached to it. At one awards show, when Beatty tried to approach her with that same old smile, she smiled back, cold, perfect, and unbothered. Then she turned away without a word. That moment said everything. He had underestimated her, but she had learned exactly how to protect herself. Another painful moment came when she tried to break out of comedy and take on more serious roles. She was ready. Her instincts were sharp, her skills underrated. When she got the chance to audition for a high-profile drama opposite Dustin Hoffman, she showed up prepared. She was focused, determined, and hopeful. But what she didn't expect was how Hoffman would treat her. During the reading, he stopped everything mid-scene and told her she was not connecting. Then, in front of everyone, he added, "You're still playing it like a sitcom." The producers shifted in their seats, unsure whether to intervene. But Hoffman wasn't finished. He made more comments, turning the audition into something that felt more like a public teardown. Goldie didn't break down. She finished the scene, thanked everyone, and left with her head held high. But she told her agent that night she wouldn't be going back. She wasn't going to work with a man who'd already made up his mind about her before she even opened her mouth. To this day, some people say Hoffman wasn't being cruel, just honest. But those who were there say his tone wasn't about helping. It was about power. He saw her as someone to correct, not collaborate with. And Goldie made it clear. She didn't need that kind of mentorship. She was already more than enough. Then came the project that almost happened, but didn't, thanks to another big name. Bill Murray. He was known for being unpredictable, sometimes brilliant, sometimes unbearable. The idea was to pair his offbeat humor with Goldie's warmth. But right from the first table read, she knew it wasn't going to work. Bill showed up late, rolled his eyes at the script, and made jokes at everyone's expense. He riffed, rewrote scenes, and dismissed the original material like it didn't matter. When Goldie tried to keep things on track, he interrupted with a mocking, "Try acting like you've done drama before." The room laughed, but Goldie didn't. She left the session quietly and sent word through her team the next day. She was out. No statements. No explanations. Just a quiet exit. Some thought she'd overreacted. But to those who knew her, it was clear. She had drawn a line. This was more than about one joke. It was about a pattern. A culture where male comedians used chaos to dominate scenes, then left women to deal with the tension and cleanup. After that, she stopped accepting roles in male-led comedies unless she had control over her part. She didn't want to be the afterthought in someone else's show anymore. One of the most hurtful encounters wasn't even on a film set. It happened at a charity gala where Goldie was set to speak about mental health, something very close to her heart. As she took the stage, Sean Penn, another Hollywood heavyweight, was in the crowd. Rather than show respect, he rolled his eyes and sighed loudly, making it clear he didn't take her seriously. It wasn't just rude, it was a calculated moment meant to embarrass her. In a room full of industry insiders, it stung. This wasn't about a script or a role. This was about being a woman with a voice in a room full of people who sometimes only valued you for being silent and smiling. What makes Goldie's story powerful isn't just that these things happened. It's how she handled them. She didn't go public with angry interviews. She didn't throw names into tabloids. She simply decided who she would and wouldn't work with. She protected herself without turning bitter. She didn't demand revenge. She chose peace. That quiet strength helped her survive in an industry that often rewards those who shout the loudest or push the hardest. Goldie never stopped being kind, but she stopped letting people mistake that kindness for weakness. She walked away from people who didn't respect her. She chose roles that made her happy. She built a life that prioritized her joy over approval. And even though she's now speaking more openly about those moments, it's not for attention. It's because the truth matters. Not just for her, but for every woman who's been dismissed, talked over, or undermined. These stories also reflect something bigger. For decades, the industry let certain behaviors slide. Men who were brilliant on screen were allowed to be unbearable off-screen. Their cruelty was excused as eccentricity. Their disrespect was masked as genius. But women like Goldie had to work twice as hard just to be taken seriously, and still smile while doing it. Her story challenges that old narrative. It shows that success doesn't have to come from playing by someone else's rules. Goldie Hawn is still standing, not because she was lucky, but because she learned how to protect herself, when to walk away, and when to speak up. Her light hasn't dimmed. If anything, it shines brighter now, not because of what she went through, but because of how she carried herself through it. She's not just a star. She's a survivor with grace, grit, and wisdom that only time, and pain, can teach. So, what do you think about these hidden stories from one of Hollywood's most beloved stars? Did any of these names surprise you? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you found this story powerful or eye-opening. For more true stories from behind the screen, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned. There's always more than what meets the eye. And sometimes, the truth is the most important story of all.